Everyone wants to be a dog until you gotta do some dog shit.
All right, good morning. It is the day after the big schedule release, and I think that's going to be the whole day today, is that we're going to get into five teams. Five teams that really got screwed. I think that there's more than five teams that really got screwed, but today's lineup is revenge games. Who has revenge games on their schedule? Of course, the teams that got screwed, the winners and the losers from the schedule release. Your Detroit Lions. Look, this schedule couldn't have been any better. I haven't listened to anyone else's take other than our own on this channel as far as what they think about the schedule. So you guys tell me in the chat, tell us in the chat today, once I get the date right, that what everyone else is saying. Are they saying it's a bad schedule? Are they just saying it's a tough schedule? Are they saying we got screwed? What are they saying about the Lions? Because I haven't listened, and I did that on purpose because I want today to be real, raw, and authentic. Eric's back today. It's the Will and Eric show. Let's get Eric in here. Good morning, Eric. You're muted, buddy.
Muted. Hey, what's happening, everybody?
So, man, you've had a few days off. How'd everything go with the kids? And
Yeah, I talked to over 250 fifth graders at Gaylord schools, and I'm going to tell you what, those kids had some energy.
Nice.
I wish I could put it in a bottle and take it with me because they couldn't sit still. But you know what? We brought the rocks out, got them all interested in earth sciences, fluorescent minerals, and they had a blast. They all went home with a rock, a sticker, and a card. And so little stickers of me are all over Gaylord School by now for sure.
That's awesome, man. It's always fun to be able to reach back and pull some kids up, right? Give them something to be excited about, whether it's sports, whether it's broadcasting or something else. I was invited to a summer camp last year, and this year I'm going to do it. So there is a sports broadcasting summer camp, and I forget the name, but they invited me down to come and do a couple of days worth of podcasting with these kids and to kind of teach them about sports podcasting. Not that I'm the best in the world, not that I'm, some guy that deserves to even be there. I think the person happens to be a Lions fan and has been watching the show. So they reached out and I'm going to go do it. And I even asked them, like, you guys bring people in every year to speak to these kids about all of these different programs. And this camp is centered around like, kind of like what you did with the kids to go get them excited about stuff. So each station daily that they go through it's not just sports broadcasting. There could be horse riding. There could be, 20 different things that they can do at this camp. That's the basis is getting them ready for their future. And what do they want to do in their future? Get them exposed to things. And so what you're doing with the kids, getting them exposed to earth sciences, I think that's pretty cool, man.
Yeah, it was fantastic. And I love their energy, but man, some of them kids are, they took a little extra caffeine in the morning or something. Cause man, those kids were wound up yesterday. They were excited.
It's nice when you're a kid and you don't need that stuff, right? Like I drink coffee, but I don't drink coffee for the caffeine. I could drink decaffeinated and be just fine. I don't even like caffeine. Like it does nothing for me. But kids, man, like you said, they got this bottled up energy and it kind of makes you a little bit jealous. Like I would love to be 10 years old again and to feel what it's like to wake up at 5 a.m. and not care, right? And you could be up all day and you do that over and over and over and it doesn't bother you. Now, if you miss a half hour of sleep at 44, 45 years old, you're in trouble. It's like you don't feel the same. So I get it. Energy is a real thing, especially after you lose a thyroid, man. Everything gets screwed up. So just so everyone understands, the away games. Obviously, the Green Bay game is the most important because that's our first game. And so if you want to join the bus ride, it's an executive luxury bus trip. It leaves from Grand Rapids. It's going to go to Green Bay. It's going to go the day before, and we're going to stay overnight, and then we'll probably come back. I even forget the schedule. Is that Sunday or Monday night we kick off? Sunday night, right?
Yeah, so it's Sunday at 4:15.
Yeah, so we will be back Monday. So you're going to have to take Monday off of work. You can't purchase anything outside of what we're doing. You can come and join, the tailgate and find us if you're going to be there. That's fine. I'll always have, 10 to 15 persons extra of food. So if you want to buy a ticket there to support the Rockhound Cancer Foundation and eat and kind of hang out and mingle with us, you can do that. You can come hang out. You don't have to purchase a ticket to just hang out. But if you want to eat and kind of hang out and do that kind of stuff, then yeah, that's what the ticket's for. So if you want to go to these games, it's all inclusive. Ticket, hotel, bus, fees, parking, tips, box lunch there and back, catered barbecue or whatever we're going to do, depending where we're going. Green Bay is barbecue, Mission Barbecue. Good stuff. Great hotels, 3-star plus. Get in early because they're going to sell out. And we're only doing 50 people. We need 35 to make the bus roll. But we're only doing 50 people. So, and I'm probably going to buy 5 tickets for myself because I got at least 4 or 5 people in my family that need to go. So that means there's only 45 seats available. Get in early. I'll be updating everything today because now tickets are available. They're going to go quick. I've already got my messages out last night back to the organizations. I don't think the Bears are going to give us an inch. I don't think they're going to do anything for us. So we might be paying retail on tickets.
Hey, Will.
Yes, sir.
So I got something that is not on the schedule whatsoever for today.
Sure.
But now I am a season ticket holder.
Right.
And the Detroit Lions sent me a link last night to buy additional tickets up to 8 for each of our home games.
Right.
And I jumped on the link just for you know what and giggles. And to my surprise, the cheapest ticket for any of the home games was standing room only and was $265.
Yep.
For any seats anywhere, even nosebleeds were well over $300. And there were tickets going for $2,000 for some of these games.
The Lions screwed up, man.
Yeah, they did. We are going to have the highest ticket price of anyone in the league for sure.
I just gotta say it is what it is. But I think the unfortunate side to this is we've talked about it before. We are now going to have a fan base that is fair weather fan. I'm sorry because I seen it last year as the ticket prices rose. Those die hard, lunch pail, bring it to work, blue collar, grind it out every day kind of a fan that maybe can't afford to go now or can't afford to go to as many games. I mean, I've spoken to many people. Hey, I used to go to 4 games a year, and I could only afford to go to 2, maybe 1. That's how much these ticket prices have priced guys and, priced people out. And unfortunately, and I'm not just like, I'm not trying to, I don't know, it segregates a bad word. I'm not trying to say that you can't be a great fan if you're wealthy because you can be. But I think the unfortunate side is they're not the same fan if you haven't been around since day one. Right. And a lot of these people have been around since day one and they can't even go anymore. I mean, like you got an opportunity to get tickets because, I assume that individual can't afford to pay for all those tickets anymore.
Exactly. So he had kids that he always brought. Well, his kids are grown now and his kids can't afford the tickets and he can't afford to pay for all 4 because when he got them 20, 30 years ago, it was $300, $400 for the season for all 4 tickets, and he had 6 and went down to 4 and now he's down to 2 and he just transferred them to me. So I got them at the exact same price he got them for, which was amazing. So, I'm getting my tickets for very, very reasonable. I'm down in the lower bowl, row 9 for like $200 a seat for the whole season. Yeah.
The unfortunate thing is, I put up all these away game trips and you guys probably should have bought them early because I'm telling you right now, prices are going to change. I mean, based on what we're seeing, someone just put in the chat that level 3 tickets for the Bears were $324. I only priced them at $250.
Whew, yeah.
right? So I would have been upside down $100 per ticket, which we probably would have broke even. Like if we make $100 a seat on this, we're lucky. And
Yep.
and that's going, and that's for the whole trip. Like that's everything all included if we make $100. So I mean that's all I'm trying to pad it is like 10% to cover expenses, but also we need to put something in the bucket for Rockdown Cancer Foundation. And that's what it's trying to go towards. So when you price it out individually, like I have for myself, just to drive back and forth to Chicago to park, which is $100 a day, to stay in a hotel anywhere near Chicago or anywhere near Soldier Field. I've reached out to dozens of hotels. It's $300 a night during game nights or more. And so I had some really good prices. I got block pricing through some hotels, and yeah, prices are going to be going through the roof. So it reminds me I needed to deactivate those until I can run through it, because what I don't want to do is overpromise and underdeliver and say, hey, we got to pay more.
And I don't know if you're like me and Alex Anzalone, but I'm kind of bummed in the whole Christmas Day thing.
Yeah.
I really wanted to go to the Minnesota game, and now I can't go. There's no way I am telling my wife that I am going to Minnesota for Christmas. It's not happening. So I'm glad it's not a home game, because my wife and I would be at Ford Field for Christmas if that was the case, and I probably would be in a lot of trouble, but it would happen. But I know I'm not going to be able to go to Minnesota now. So it's kind of a bummer.
Well, unfortunately, I'll be going to Minnesota, because if the tickets sell, which we have plenty of time now to make sure that game does sell, that's going to be a big game. I'm hoping that a lot of people do want to go, and my kids are out of the house, so Christmas it is. I'm sure Megan and I would enjoy a different style of Christmas. Every couple of years, it's maybe do something different, whether it's a trip somewhere sunny or staying home or whatever it is, but try to do something different.
I'll tell you, if you guys stay near the Mall of America, there's something to do on Christmas Eve. If you get there the day before or the day after, it's awesome.
I like Mall of America, man. It's huge. All right, so let's dip into this, man. We had good reactions last night. We had a good group in during the program last night, and today is now all about going through the schedule. Eric, why don't you walk us off with one that I've been trying to, we haven't been able to get to any topics this week. Like with Corey on, for some reason, we just talk, and then things just keep on going, and it happens with us too, where, you and I will start off with, a topic or two, and then it's like 9 a.m. What happened? Yep. So it's already 8:23. We haven't gotten to anything yet. It's the first one that I've been trying to talk about now for a couple of days. I think this is going to be a very cool thing to watch. So why don't you walk us through what Nicolas Cage and Christian Bale are going to be doing for the NFL?
Yeah, so this is pretty awesome. They're making a Madden movie. So the movie is titled Madden, and it's in production about the life of the late NFL coach and broadcaster John Madden. Nicolas Cage is going to star as John Madden. Christian Bale is going to play the former Raiders owner Al Davis. And the movie is being produced by Amazon with MGM Studios in association with Skydance Sports. David O. Russell from The Fighter and Silver Linings Playbook is the director, and he also wrote the script for the movie. The film will chronicle Madden's journey from NFL coaching to broadcasting and becoming the face of the franchise Madden NFL, the video game. So there's a few people that are going to be playing a few spots. So John Mulaney will play the Electronic Arts founder Trip Hawkins. Catherine Hahn will portray John Madden's wife, Virginia Madden, and Sienna Miller will play Al Davis's wife, Carol Davis. The movie aims to tell the unlikely story of Madden's impact on the NFL, and production has begun for the movie. And I don't think it's going to be out for a couple of years, but man, this is something I think that could be really, really awesome. So I posted a picture there in the link for this with a picture of it. And I love how they have them dressed for like the 70s, 80s. If you remember how Madden always used to wear the pants with the prints on them and everything, and he's got a pair of the printed pants, and he's got his Raider jacket on. And I think they need to put a few more pounds on Nicolas Cage, but other than that, I think it's going to be great.
Yeah, I watched. There was some little mock up of it that I
Yeah.
caught the other day, and I was watching it. Right now, I'm trying to get the picture up. Let's see how bad of a job I just did. Hold on. Yeah, see, it's not even there.
Okay.
Hold on a sec. There we go.
Ah.
Yeah, it's kind of small, but that's the that's the first image of the movie.
Yep.
And I like it too. So like you were talking about the dress code.
Yeah.
And I love it. I mean, Nicolas Cage looks like he's gained a few pounds, unless that's just all
makeup,
makeup, right? And that plastic stuff that they wear, that moldable stuff. It's probably what it is. He's probably got a bodysuit on or something. Real Raiders Super Bowl ring, from what I heard.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So someone donated a ring for use during the movie shoots.
Oh, that's amazing.
So pretty cool stuff, man. I also read something that they were making replicas because they wanted to put the Raider ring away, right? And they made some replicas too.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's kind of cool, man. I think it's going to be great. Madden, iconic. Absolutely loved what he has, provided for the NFL, especially with the broadcasting. There was nobody better, man. He just boom, right? Boom. He just always did it, right?
We haven't had a good NFL movie in a while, not since Draft Day.
Yeah.
Draft Day's got to be the last really good high production, Hollywood movie done on the NFL that I can remember.
I watch that movie 3-4 times a year, and I probably watch it at least twice around draft time. So
yeah, I just watched it a couple weeks ago.
It's fun stuff, man.
Yeah.
All right, so next topic, man. This one's incredible, right? So Lions got super lucky. By the way, I mentioned this yesterday that I felt kind of bad with the leaks, and the reason why is because someone leaked the whole darn schedule. And I can't stand this stuff. Like, let the NFL trickle it out. Let them do, what they have planned. Okay, so I got information, right? And I told you guys I had information, and I slow walked it, and I held it, tight to my vest until the night before the night of, right? So the eve of the release. And I go to members only first on YouTube, and I put it in the members only chat, and I say, hey, this is what I've heard. And it pretty much stuck. 90% of it was right. Couple little things had to be tweaked, whether it was a Sunday night game or a Sunday evening game. But getting the Lions, correct with their Sunday and Monday night games, they had 2 apiece. And then also getting the extra Thursday game, which I thought, from what I heard, maybe I misheard, was an extra game before or after Thanksgiving to help them with scheduling purposes and not have to have 4 days off. Well, the NFL screwed us again with 4 days off. Mm-hmm. And we ended up getting that extra Thursday game. Happened to be on Christmas. So information was solid. Super appreciate you. You know who you are. Getting me the information that helps us throughout the season. And like I said, I don't get any information from anybody else that is known on this channel. I want to make that very clear. I don't get any information from anyone like Ahmed or through Corey. We're not even going to go down that road. So I just want to make sure that everyone understands that my sources have been my sources since I started this channel, and they treat us pretty well. But I felt bad. When you saw the schedule fully leak yesterday, Eric, I mean, we still knew that 8 o'clock was the legit schedule, and it was spot on. So what was your thought about that?
Well, early in the day, Jordan Schultz started putting out, a few of the games, and he had 3 of them correct. That ended up being verified and being the real deal. And then about 2 o'clock, I can't remember where I found it, but I found the entire schedule, and it was absolutely 100%. The whole thing was correct. And it's a brutal schedule. And like the first thing that happened was my buddy Bob. He texts me, and he's like, dude, this is the worst road schedule ever, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, yeah, but listen, 7 of these games are outdoors, right? Correct. How many of them are late in the season? Only one in November against the Philadelphia Eagles. So I'm like, perfect, right? We play the Packers very early.
Bears too. Don't forget the Bears last game.
Yeah, and well, the Bears in the very last game, but for like snow and really, really bad weather, it's probably only the Bears game. And then there's a slight chance in, the first 2 weeks in November that we play Philadelphia that could be.
I think it could be chilly. I don't think we're gonna have to worry about weather.
Yeah. So
I think it'll be chilly though.
There's only really like I told him, I said there's only really 1 or 2 weather games. And we were 8-0 on the road last year. So I have a lot of confidence in us. And I really, really think that this is okay with how brutal our schedule is, because we're playing all the first place teams from every division that we play. So to have it be where we're not playing all of them bunched together late in the season, a whole bunch of road games right at the end of the year, is kind of nice. And we even have a little slot where we have 3 home games in a row. And I don't think that you could do the schedule much better than they did. The only thing I really don't like is the only having 3 days off between Sunday and Thursday. Only 3 days of practice, 1 day of rest. I really don't care for that.
Wow.
And the week 8 bye week, I kind of wish it was week 10 or 11. But it's way better than week 5. I'll take it. Week 5 sucked last year.
I'm just looking at the Packers right now. You guys all should have bought those tickets early. Prices are going up. The lowest price seat right now for Green Bay opening day is $432.
Yep.
Plus fees. So you're talking about a $550 ticket that is also in the lower bowl. Row 51 is the lowest price ticket, is all lower bowl that's left. Even the upper bowls in the 300s, row 6 starts at $600.
Well, I think the 300 section, isn't that actual seats?
It could be. I don't remember. I know the lower area where I sat was all bleachers.
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah, it's going to be nutty. I know that the Packers typically will help us out with our group pricing. So we just have to be first. We can't be last. What I really loved was the Baltimore game, having that early in the schedule, and to your credit, and we talked about it last night. We've got some great games on the docket. First topic of the day that I really want to get to is, did anyone even realize that we have 12 nationally televised games this year? 12 to go along with what could be 6 primetime games by the time we're done with the season. We have Turkey Day. Christmas Day is a Thursday. So there's 2 Thursdays. What I consider primetime, right? I mean, that's 2 or 3 games on that day. And then we have 2 Mondays, 2 Sundays. There's 6. 6, what I consider primetime. There's 6. And then we also have one more that could be at the end of the season with the Bears. That one's TBD. The week 17 could also flip. I think week 17 we were not. I don't think we were on prime time. It's a 4:30 game. That is Netflix, and I don't remember all the rules surrounding Netflix, if that game can be flexed or not.
That's the Christmas game, isn't it?
Oh yeah, it is a Christmas game. That won't be flexed. That won't be moved. I apologize. Week 18 is TBD. That one can be flexed, whether it's a Saturday, Monday night game like they did last year, or see what's the date? They don't even have the date. So that could be a Saturday, Monday night game. Could be a Sunday night game. I don't think they have a Monday night game in week 18. I think it's only on Saturday that at the end of the season.
Yeah, it's only Saturdays and Sundays.
Right. The Steelers, being an afternoon game on a Sunday. The Rams obviously is an afternoon game because it's out west. But the Steeler game at Ford Field on Sunday, there's a possibility that could be flexed. So I think that there's a max of 6 primetime games that you're allowed to have. Maybe they break the rules this year. I don't know. Or maybe they don't. But 12 nationally televised games. So let me run through it.
Yep.
Let me run through it here. And by the way, all the preseason games are out now. So Lions take on the Falcons, the Dolphins, and the Houston Texans in preseason now. And Chargers for the Hall of Fame game.
Do they have the dates and the times for all the preseason games?
No, it's all TBD. At least what I'm looking at on this. It might be on the Lions schedule now. Actually, let me go back and look. Lions schedule, it says July 31st for the Hall of Fame game, August 8th for the Falcons at 7 p.m. on a Friday, and then the Dolphins and the Houston Texans are to be determined. So when it comes to nationally televised games, all of your 425 games are nationally televised. So Packers, of course, will be nationally televised. ESPN, ABC for the Monday night game at Baltimore. NBC, 8:20 p.m., Kansas City Sunday night game. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, 7 p.m., ESPN, ABC Monday night game. Prime, 8:15, Dallas Cowboys on Thursday. The Netflix game, of course, on Christmas. The Rams at 4:25. The Commanders at 4:25, which is on a Sunday. Of course, the Chiefs and the Bucks, I think I already said. The Bengals at 4:25. So 12 nationally televised games. I don't know if they're including the Hall of Fame game in there because that's an 8 p.m. game. That's going to be a great game down at Hall of Fame Stadium down there. It's a very small stadium, but there's not a bad seat in the house, man. It's like going to a high school game, a big high school game. That's what it's like. So 12 nationally televised games. So when I heard, again, there's a lot of people that talk about the Lions and what they were going to get this year. And the one thing that I kept hearing is the NFL is not going to give the Lions any credit. The Lions aren't going to get what they deserve. And we're going to see if the NFL still loves the Lions after what they did against the Commanders. I never understood that train of thought, that some people were saying that the Lions didn't deserve anything at all because of the way their season ended. I think this just proved the NFL loves the Lions. The way that this schedule is, honestly, my take couldn't be any better. It could not be any better. And we have the third least travel out of all teams. So I think the NFL did us a big solid. I still have a bone to pick with the 4 days off before Thanksgiving. Like that, I'll never understand that. Just move the bye week down the road a little bit, and you can fix that.
Exactly. And I was just looking, Fox NFL just put out their NFL's Fox America's Game of the Week with Tom Brady, right? And they put out the 11 games that they're going to have this season. 4 of those 11 games feature your Detroit Lions.
With Tom Brady?
Yep.
I didn't realize that.
So week 5 will be on Fox at the Bengals. Week 10 will be on Fox at the Commanders. Week 13, Green Bay will be at Detroit. And then week 15, Detroit will be at the Rams. And those are America's Game of the Week on Fox. So Turkey Day is going to be on Fox this year.
Speaking of 12 games that the Lions are going to be nationally televised in, which is huge, right? I think we have the most of any team, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
What does that number also resonate for you when you speak of DraftKings right now?
Yeah. So this morning, DraftKings put out the point spread totals and the over-unders for all of this year's NFL games, every single game. So I have all 17 of Detroit's games, and in 12 of our 17 games, the Detroit Lions are already favored. And some of them, they're favored by 10 or more points.
Already they're favored by 10 or more points?
In some of these games. So if you want me to, I'll run through each of these games and I'll let you know where the Lions are favored and where they're not favored.
Yeah, run through it real quick, and then we're going to get into the 5 teams that got really screwed.
All right. So first, your Detroit Lions, week 1, play the Green Bay Packers at the Green Bay Packers. The Green Bay Packers are a 1.5 point favorite. So if we go just by over or just by point spreads here, or the not the point spread, Who's favored? The Green Bay Packers are favored in this game. So that's our first one where we are not favored. And then game 2, the Chicago Bears at the Detroit Lions. The Detroit Lions are favored by 4.5 points. In week 3, the Detroit Lions go to the Baltimore Ravens, and the Baltimore Ravens are a 3.5 point favorite. So that would mean we would be 1-2 after 3 games. And then we go back home to play the Cleveland Browns, where we are a 10.5 point favorite. 10.5 points. That is incredible. That would make us 2-2. And then the Lions go on the road to play the Cincinnati Bengals, where the Detroit Lions are a 1.5 point favorite. So that would make us 3-2. The following week, we go to KC and play at KC. KC is favored by 3 points. That would make us 3-3. The following week, on Monday Night Football, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers come to town to play the Detroit Lions, and the Detroit Lions are favored by 3.5 points, which would make us 4-3. Then the Minnesota Vikings come to play the Detroit Lions, and the Detroit Lions are favored by 4.5 points. That would make us 5-3. And then the Detroit Lions play the Washington Commanders at the Commanders. The Commanders are a 1.5 point favorite. So that would drop us to 4 losses. And then the Detroit Lions play at the Philadelphia Eagles. The Eagles are favored by 3.5. And this is where the part of the schedule gets fun. The New York Giants come to play the Detroit Lions, and the Detroit Lions are favored by 8.5 points. And then Turkey Day, Green Bay comes to Detroit. Well, Green Bay is not favored. Detroit is favored by 2.5 in this game already. Then December 4th, we play the Dallas Cowboys at home, and we are a 6-point favorite against the Dallas Cowboys. And then we go on the road to play the Los Angeles Rams. The Detroit Lions are 1.5 point favorites already for that game. And then the Pittsburgh Steelers come to town. And once again, the Detroit Lions are 6-point favorites. Christmas Day, the Detroit Lions play at the Minnesota Vikings. And once again, the Detroit Lions are favored by 2.5. They are favored to beat Minnesota both games this year. And then the final game of the year, the Detroit Lions at the Chicago Bears. The Detroit Lions are favored to win by 1.5. So that means the last 6 or 7 games of the year, we're favored in every single game. And that brings us to 12-5, according to DraftKings. Now, their over-under for the Lions for the year is 10.5 wins. So if you're a betting person like me, maybe you put some money on the over 10.5 wins for the season. And I think we're going to sneak one more. I think we're going to get to 13-4.
You know, yeah, so I had us at 14-3. And I'm still sticking with that. But, you know, someone in the chat just reminded me of something. And I forgot how pissed off I was last night. I'm sorry, when I looked at the schedule again. And I started to write something on Twitter. And I am going to send it now. So at least the Lions are at home. But we're at home against the Giants on the 23rd of November. And then we host the Packers on Thanksgiving on the 27th. 4 days of rest. Well, not even 3 weeks later, we're up against Pittsburgh, and at least we're at home for Pittsburgh, right? But we're just getting back from SoFi, and then we host Pittsburgh, and then 3 days later, we play the Vikings on Christmas away.
Yeah.
How are you making the Lions travel away on 3 days rest, and you're doing this twice in a month? This is where that bye week needed to happen around Thanksgiving. I'm sorry. This is an epic failure. Outside of the rest of the schedule really lining up perfectly with not having as many outdoor games, it's not an indictment on Jared Goff. It's just nobody wants to have to play in weather. No one really wants to play in the cold. And you want to get the best of the best out of these guys. This is exactly why I think Brad Holmes has made exceptionally good draft picks, because now look at this. You've got guys that are going to be absolutely gassed And if you have a really deep offensive line and a really deep defensive line and you're going high rotation, it's going to help, especially those 2 weeks